Hello, YouTube. My name is Plazukas, and I'm going to continue to cover the MrBeast situation. And I'm reacting to a video by Atozy entitled MrBeast Just Destroyed His Credibility. I've watched a few minutes of this just to kind of make sure that I wanted to react to it, and I do. Other than that, I really don't know where we go in this video, so it's going to be my first thoughts on the new information that's been coming out about MrBeast and his organization and some of the potential scams that has had, a little bit of light shed on it after the Ava blow up. Essentially, kind of questioned, MrBeast's motives. Like, is he as a good person as he says he is because he's so nice, right? And let me just say before we begin, I've said this from the day that I started and repivoted my new content, is that nobody is as good as they seem. Okay, especially those that give away money and stuff like that. You would probably be wise to look even deeper into people that do that, because people just don't give money away. All right, people just don't give money away. A lot of it is incentivized, and if you do give money away, there's usually a reason. The reason why I give money away is because I've had issues with money my entire life, and therefore, when I see somebody that's homeless or somebody that needs a food or a handout, or maybe have a little bit more of a socialist policy, it's because I've been informed by my childhood. I've been informed to know that there are people that are without, that it's not entirely their fault. Sometimes it's just circumstances beyond their control. And although yes, they can obviously take advantage of that generosity, I give without any kind of repercussions or expectations of anything in return. And then I don't even think about what they do with the money. I just give them the money. It's not a lot. It's not a MrBeast level of $1 million or $500,000. It has nothing to do with that. It's $10 here, $5 here, $50 every now and then. Like, it's not a lot, and I would give more as well if I had the means to do so, obviously. So let's begin. But most people have a reason why they give away money. And it's not always a good thing.
It's just destroyed his credibility if this is true, because it looks really bad. And it's safe to say a lot has happened since I recorded my last video going over Dodpack or Dawson's video on MrBeast, including my own video was copyright claimed and blocked worldwide.
Yeah, and this has been an issue for sure. There's been a lot of this going on. And actually, on my own YouTube channel, I posted a video that I think referenced MrBeast, and it only has 100 views, which is kind of uncommon for a video of that nature for my videos. So I don't know if YouTube is playing with the algorithm. They have a lot to lose. MrBeast, I think, comprises a pretty big chunk of their overall revenue for one person, if you look at it from a percentage perspective. So they would do right to try to protect somebody like him and protect his brand, in my opinion.
Why? I don't know. It's surprising, as I was really giving the MrBeast team the benefit of the doubt in my video. But since I recorded that video, Dogpack allegedly received 2 cease and desists and a whole bunch of texts from various people in the MrBeast.
Yeah, this cease and desist stuff is not going to look good any way you shake it, because it's just trying to curtail the information, right? Whether or not it is defamatory, whether or not it is slanderous, that's obviously for the legal, process to play out. But just basically cease and desisting somebody off the rip, it just looks like real bad. And they were part of, or the person that's being cease and desisted, I think were part of the organization, MrBeast organization. They probably signed NDAs or some other form of disclosures, which obviously doesn't look good either. From somebody that's transparent as MrBeast, as nice as MrBeast is, given water to the regions that he goes to. I don't even know what region it was. And then building houses, you think he's such a philanthropist, but in reality, they're not. They're not as nice as they seem. They really aren't.
MrBeast team plotting against him. And as many of you guys are aware, I despise wealthy people trying to shut down criticism with legal battles, as
yeah, that's what I was implying.
I've dealt with that personally here on this channel. I was honestly hoping they would come out with an actual response to the illegal lotteries by now, since one of the team members, Chucky.
So this is new to me. I didn't know about this whole thing about, hopefully they get into this. I'd never watched the other videos preceding this. I just don't have enough time in a day to follow all of the coverage of everybody. But I heard this in passing about the legal lotteries. I'm interested to see if they get into this further.
Already responded, but not to the most serious allegation of that video, the illegal lotteries, especially when so much of his audience are kids.
Yeah, and this is the part that I think people knew clearly, right? That I would say the majority of YouTube is kids. It's been an issue before Kappa, before, you know, in the United States, before they regulated it. And YouTube is a United States company currently. And it's an issue after. And the fact that you don't have to sign into your account to watch videos, that if you do adult content, if you actually check that freaking mark, you do not get sponsored. And it, although it would require kids to sign in, advertisers don't want that extra barrier. God forbid advertisers can't market to people under the age of 18. God forbid they have to actually market to an adult who has, you know, a well-formed brain that can think for themselves. No, they want to market to people that are influential. And why do you think they want people to have kids? So that new people are influenced and coerced and manipulated and abused and all these fucking things. Come on.
My last video, I called that a serious mistake because at the end of the day, I have no idea if MrBeast was aware of this practice is illegal or not when he was doing these. But
Yeah, and that's possible. Like, some of these like schemes may not be apparently nefarious at first. You know, they could just be in all, you know, goodwill. And this was his stick for a very long time, just giving money randomly to people anyway. So it followed his train of thought. But at some point, right, yeah, that could have been brought to his attention and then had to have changed some tactics about what this potentially scheme was.
Either way, it's a complete disaster that one of the largest YouTube channels at the time was running illegal lotteries.
And that's probably partly why it became as successful as it was as well. You know, scams can be very successful.
With a large kid audience. Essentially, he was caught red-handed committing a crime. And you guys made a great point in my comments in my last video. If Logan Paul was the one doing this, I wouldn't be holding back like I did in my last video. Because while MrBeast has helped tons of people with his philanthropy, that doesn't excuse scummy business practices. I don't think he's done one of these.
That's correct. 100%. And this is the part that gets lost in the sauce, okay? Just speak, you know, have you ever watched, and most people have watched Breaking Bad at this point, right? Gus Farang, the owner of the Chipotle Mexican restaurant, whatever it was, right? The guy that was running like the methamphetamines, whatever ring, right? He was given to the police organizations. He was given to all these charitable donation or organizations, right? This is how they disguise their illicit activities, okay? They give to the people that would basically, you know, prosecute them, convict them, so that they look the other way. Oh, not this guy. Not Tommy. Tommy, how much did Tommy give us? $1 million? Oh, not Tommy. Tommy wouldn't do that. Tommy's not going to have sex with a young kid. No, Tommy wouldn't do that. It must be somebody else. Yeah, well, guess what? Maybe it is that person. Like I said, you need to look even deeper at people that give money. They don't. It is the way it is. Rich people know that, you know. Jeffrey Epstein knew that. Donald Trump knows that. Or at least he used to when he used to give to politicians for a reason, obviously. And it's not just those two. And it's not for those severe cases either. There are plenty of just ordinary people that do the same thing in their communities for lesser reasons, for less nefarious reasons.
These illegal lotteries since late 2021, but I'm thinking, worst case, he knew what he was doing and was hoping since it was a live stream, he wouldn't get caught. Another situation could be that he finally grew to a certain size to where someone within his team finally said, wait a minute, this is illegal. And then I guess the last option is he found out that this was illegal from Dawson's call out video, which could explain why the Facebook VOD of the stream was deleted only after Dawson's video. But
well, I mean, that's a large coincidence if that's the case.
Honestly, who knows what happened? So
yeah, and you really can't say for sure, right?
Original guess was they just wanted all this to pass without becoming too big of a thing. But as you know, with YouTubers and cease and desists, they normally end up having massive Streisand effects. And this continued to propel Dogpack's video to 8 million views and beyond as of recording this video. And
Yeah, and this is the fear. Whenever you copyright something or you like cease and desist some legal action, the community does not like that. When you are a proponent of freedom of speech, like Elon Musk, and then you delete posts, the community does not like that. Now, some companies handle those kind of things better, and they allow for the discourse and the debates. Other companies will silence even the critics. So who knows what's going to happen in some of these platforms? But yeah, in this particular case, it's obviously exploded this video now, and people are watching it. And I will say that the parts that I did watch of this do not look good for MrBeast at all.
And it's getting to a point where MrBeast kind of has to address this, but he might have been legally advised not to because clearly he has a legal team retained.
Sure,
he did
100%.
actually address the Chris
100%.
Tyson stuff, but not this as of this recording. So
Yeah.
here's Dawson's first cease and desist.
So MrBeast's legal team did send me a cease and desist, and here's my official response to that.
Okay, so he will not cease nor desist, and it cuts to an edit that I think the legal team I had would have told me is an absolute nightmare. So if this does go to court, it can get real ugly quick. But as we know, lawsuits are public, so that will reveal a lot.
Okay, I think this is an unfortunate lapse. Not all lawsuits are public. There is a course within the justice system that you can the word is lost on me, but it's another way to do it, and it's not as public, and it's done like through a mediation system. I'm not sure if I can't remember what it's called. It's a word, okay, but it doesn't have to be publicized. The actual like suit could be publicized, right, as in public information, but the details will never be disclosed. And I'm not sure which is which. I'm not even sure if it has to be disclosed. Like, it's kind of a gray area, and it's set up for that reason, and it's kind of shady.
Especially if it gets to discovery.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, but again, this process, there is an avenue where it's not as public, even in discovery. Period. Lawsuits are different than criminal convictions. And some criminal convictions are under seal, and you don't get to know all the details about them either. And some of them are televised and others are not. That's just the reality. Should it all be very transparent and open? You know, it's very debatable because there's plenty of reasons why there are sealed, cases where it deals with a minor and they want to protect the identity of the actual person that's being a victim. But at the same time, you lose a lot of that transparency when you do something like that, even though there's a good reason why.
Particularly is what I think is going to get really interesting with the Logan Paul and CoffeeZilla case. But Dawson also...
That is happening, apparently. But here's the thing about lawsuits, okay? They don't cost that much to start. Depending on your local municipality, they're like between 40 to maybe $300, right? That's all it takes to actually try to sue somebody. That's to start the process. So technically, yes, CoffeeZilla is being sued by Logan Paul, but that could end at any time. It doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere, but in this case, it might.
Also received a second cease and desist. New one. Double it and give it to the next person.
That's going to be probably even more of a precedent when if they do go to court, unfortunately, for the person.
Right. Okay, so here it says cease and desist, final warning. There's no way they put the emoji there. Dear Mr. Dogpack404, this new firm whose white-collar criminal defense practice is second to none, according to their website, has recently been retained by MrBeast YouTube LLC. MrBeast, or the company, and its founder, Jeremy Donaldson.
Was this when they referenced when MrBeast referenced that he would be seeking legal or an outside investigation? Like, was this part of that? Was this a legal firm because Blizzard did this when they were facing sexual allegations? They hired a firm that basically dealt with a lot of the windfalls of that, and they paid out a lot of people and stuff like that. I wonder if this is the same practice that is being now just distributed throughout his whole entire company for all of his practices, just to cover all the X's and C's and Y's.
And regarding the unsettling news that you've embarked on a campaign to disparage MrBeast as a company and defame Jimmy Donaldson as an individual. Not only are your statements about MrBeast and Jimmy Donaldson untrue, they also violate the clear binding enforcement terms of your confidentiality and non-disclosure.
Yeah, and this is the problem, right? A lot of these people sign these NDAs, even in companies like MrBeast. And, you know, it just says something how, you know, you get this big. It's not just, you know, mistakes. Like, it's done methodically. You get this big methodically. A lot of it is off the backs of young children. Obviously, that's being exposed now. Young children, okay, let's be very clear, is the simplest, easiest way to make money in a capitalist society. It just is. Okay, Pixar movies used to be the easiest, bettable option every year when they came out in the movie theaters. Not so much anymore, but there was a time where those were guaranteed to gross, you know, 300, 500, $1 billion. That's off the backs of children. And that's everything. That's not just movies. Marketing for cosmetics, marketing for toys, marketing for TV shows, which obviously have commercials and stuff like that. Marketing for any kind of like new venture for you know, somebody that's getting into a new business. They want to market to the younger audience because those are the people that are going to sway their parents to buy things for them for Christmas or for other, you know, for birthdays or just because they're spoiled little brats. They get everything they want.
Agreement with MrBeast dated March 25th, 2024. The NDA agreement.
Yeah.
Which we have shown in the videos posted to the internet. It goes into a little bit more detail here. Then he also adds that his number apparently has been leaked in this thread. Also, my number's been leaked apparently from a MrBeast employee named Kaylee. I've been getting texts from a former MrBeast employee.
We don't know how accurate this is or if this is just something they want to spin the narrative to make MrBeast look even worse. But I wouldn't put it past them. Like, listen, if they have someone like Ava that worked for MrBeast, then yes, there's going to be somebody like this who potentially would leak information as well. Let's just be very clear.
Text I received last night claims that James wants to have private investigators start following me and looking into my family's social media accounts.
Did you know, I hate to stop this so many times, but Wizard of the Coast, the brand for D&D and, well, Hasbro obviously owns Wizard of the Coast and D&D, but this company, Hasbro, okay, specifically, has like their own like private investigators that will go out. A lot of these companies have their own private investigators that will actually do what this person is implying. It's scary. Like, it's legitimate. You ever watch Dog the Bounty Hunter? It's basically that, just like for normal people that are not actually, you know, have a warrant for their arrest.
For ways to discredit me. Apparently, the best narrative they have as of right now is I'm a crazy drug addicted MrBeast superfan that got fired for trying to steal company funds. If this text is
I mean, that could happen. Let's be very clear.
true, I will say, MrBeast, if you want to resort to personal attacks, I'm happy to.
That's weird. No, I don't have premium anymore, okay? It's way too cost prohibitive.
You're not ready.
So bear with me.
Or, you know, just
It's gonna be commercials upon commercials.
address the evidence. And then here he shows some text that says, dude, has anyone at MrBeast contacted you about the posts you're making? I've been reading the NDA over to see what I can and can't post because I'd like to move on with my life and try having some type of social media presence, not planning on ever mentioning I worked at Beast, but if I got out, or if someone some way accidentally mentioned it, I wanted to make sure I was going to get sued to all hell. I guess not get sued. Also, if you're going to post my message for proof you worked at Beast, I don't care. Just don't show my number. You can save it how you want. Also, I got your number from Kaylee. I don't have access to anything Beast like Slack or anything. Obviously, I'm not a Beast employee. I'm a former employee. Someone else I know told me they texted you on Reddit talking about Kaylee and Leroy. I'm not that person, and I won't mention any current or former Beast employees because of NDA. And then you have like this interesting text. Jocelyn, I'm texting you anonymously to let you know that I heard James will hire private investigators to start following you and looking into every detail of your life. He wants them to reach out to your former employees, find all your social media accounts, your family's social media accounts, videos of you, anything. They are
Yeah, and this is what anybody does whenever they're facing allegations. What they'll do is they'll go on a smear campaign. And I'll be honest with you, it's a tried and true tactic. If you're a criminal prosecutor or defense lawyer, the first thing you do is you go down the witness list and you try to basically find issues with their credibility. And once you do that, if they have any kind of prior drug use, if they have unpaid taxes, if they've had questionable past in any, any area in their life that could be perceived as a knock to their, believability, their credibility, that's what they do. And so in this tactic is being used in this case too. It's used in all content creator space. Like, this is a tactic that has been tried and true. And because of America, the culture that we live in, whenever we see that about somebody saying something, we call them a hypocrite. We're like, why don't you just stay in your lane? Why don't you just shut the fuck up? Because you had no business talking about it anyway. You're not a good person as it is, which is a bad thing to think about, because sometimes it does take the bad person doing the right thing to actually get results. That is just the reality that we live in sometimes. Like, okay, ideally, yeah, we want actual innocent people speaking out and they don't have anything wrong with them. But in reality, that's not what we deal with. We have some, unfortunately, gray area stuff. And in those cases, they're going to have to speak out. And yeah, they're going to be hypocrites, but it doesn't mean that they're not right. Just because they've had a drug pass, just because they may have tried to steal from you, like, clearly signs, like warnings, okay, caution, you might have to go an extra level, and chances are you're going to get off because of that. But it doesn't mean that what they're saying is not accurate pertaining to that particular instance. This whole credibility shaming shit is a little bit overused, in my opinion. Effective, though. Very effective.
I already have a Google Doc listing possible ways to discredit you, including you're on drugs and have mental health problems.
Yeah, mental health. Have you seen this one before? I don't know. I think Tectone used it on me, right? It's very easy. That's why I hated that one. Personally, by the way.
Was bipolar, you were an obsessed superfan, you were crying, begging for your job back after they fired you, you tried to steal company funds, etc. I don't know what's true and what's not, but personally, I really think you should take everything down ASAP. If you take it down, they'll leave you alone.
This is such a fucking mob tactic, man. Whew. Wow.
Respond to your trolling what, and then here he kind of shows this video of...
And MrBeast can act like, he doesn't know this person. This person acted on his own regard. Some lunatic that's trying to, like, say things that MrBeast is not doing it. Like, so there's no responsibility here. And nor there would there ever be responsibility as it pertains to some random text. If this person, Kaylee, did actually leak it, then technically all that goes away. It will never get back to MrBeast as, oh, MrBeast directed this person to do that and that. It's like that stuff is not really provable in court, and they wouldn't waste the time trying to convict somebody of that, because there's other things you can do that are easily, easily more convictable than just trying to, like, yeah.
Suddenly they're saying this phone number is no longer in service. Stop. What? Stop. This is creepy. Leave. Okay. That is definitely a very weird response. If that is actually from the MrBeast team, that is wild, but it could also be someone trolling. Who knows?
Yeah.
Here he goes a little bit more in depth. On the drug abuse accusations, to be clear, because someone can't tell when I'm joking, I have never been a drug user. Weed makes me anxious. I've tried microdosing shrooms for depression, anxiety for a week over 3 months ago. Honestly, the taste made me feel sick, so I stopped. Wouldn't recommend anyone to use illicit drugs, but I consider myself an advocate for psychedelic research. Don't really care to filter everything I say through lawyers and PR people. Sometimes I say dumb shit. But my video was well researched. I'd obviously rather MrBeast just focus on disproving the evidence than trying to publicly destroy my character with baseless drug use and mental health accusations. But it appears that's the only option they have. Also,
isn't that, like, ironic? That's the same thing I wanted Tectone to do, and the thing that he resorted to was mental health. Just disprove what I was saying. Like, actually talk to me on my merits. And listen, I can actually relate to this individual, okay? In my state, weed is decriminalized, right? Obviously, federally, it's still illegal. I think it's maybe now a class 2 instead of a class 1 substance. But I even experimented with it. And I did not like, and I currently do not do any form of drugs, including weed, and I haven't done so for 2 years. But 2 years ago, I finally found a strain of weed that I actually thought was really helpful medicinally. And we had dispensaries that I could buy from, and I bought some for about a year and a half, and I was able to like really get in good shape because of it. It just allowed me to like do cardio better. And previous to that, I thought that all weed ever did was make you lazy and tired and chilled. And I didn't realize that there was a difference between indica and sativa, and then there's a hybrid, like, and that's through my exploration. So him microdosing shrooms and stuff like that, it is actually an effective way to combat anxiety in many cases. And yes, there's obviously, pills and pharmaceuticals and doctors that you can go to in order to do that as well. But, there's alternatives to that are not, those are pharmaceutical. Weed is technically a natural substance to some degree. So I just want to make it clear that my stance on drug use has changed to the extent that it can be very beneficial to the person. Now, if you're just using it recreationally, just to chill out or whatever else, that is, in essence, also combating anxiety. You've had a long day at work. You're not hurting anybody else. You're just taking a little bit here and there to make you like relax so you can, have a good time while you're off work. That's not bad, right? In my opinion, right? Anytime things are just overused, that's when you have and develop these things that could potentially hurt other people. But outside of that, outside of hurting other people, I am a constitutionalist. I do really enjoy the freedoms that I have in America. And part of that is to let people do what they want to do as long as they're not hurting anybody else while they're doing it. I think that's okay. I really do.
I literally smoked 500 cigarettes before writing this. And someone goes, what about stealing company funds? Probably this. I asked for the gas reimbursements I was promised and was denied because it wasn't an approved business expense. It was. And I should have just taken a plane. I've heard multiple stories from former MrBeast employees not getting proper reimbursement.
I will say this. This is actually a really relevant topic because yes, companies will provide a lot of like ways to reimburse somebody. But if it's not the approved way, then you won't get any reimbursement, even though you actually did something with the company or for the company. And then to try to like figure that payment out, and you are deserved that, in my opinion. And yet, because it's not like a approved procedure or approved way, you veered off a little this way, and it wasn't exactly, perfect for the policy. You don't get paid. Is that technically stealing? Yeah, sure, based on the policies, but is it really if you actually did the things? And I know this is willy-nilly because then you could just use that and obviously take a few off the top every time you do it, take more than you should be getting because the policy's there to try to budget for these kind of expenses. I get that. Like companies need to be able to know what they have to pay out, and when they approve these trips, they know how much that should cost based on whatever form of travel it is. So when you do something different, you're costing them more money, and that's not good either. I understand all that, and technically speaking, yeah, I think he's basically admitting that he was wrong in some aspects, but company policy does suck sometimes as well.
Anyway, after I sent a business expense request for an Apple Vision Pro, which I was told the company wanted to get everyone.
Sure.
This is when they were new and didn't seem like garbage. I sent the request to the wrong person, even though it was the person HR told me to send it to, but it never got purchased. Even if I had it, would have been owned by the company.
Yep. This is very common.
So I really didn't see any legit narrative that I tried to steal company funds, as if I was some embezzling mastermind and not just a dude with a $100 limit on his company card.
And, these seem like very, very relatable circumstances where you could be perceived to have potentially done something that, is not really in line with policy. But is it stealing? Sure, maybe, kind of, sort of. But in reality, it's what, like $100, $200, which even if you did get charged with that, if you're a first offender and then you explain it away like this, you're going to be fine. It's not going to be an issue. So this whole fucking debate is stupid, in my opinion. And if this is the petty shit they want to try to like, say is the issue with this individual, and that basically discredits this whole video, then they are dumb.
Okay, but speaking of the cease and desist, Caleb Broomfield actually interviewed Dogpack, and it allowed us to get some more insight on his head during the situation. So here,
and let me just say, I don't know who Dogpack is. Dogpack could be the scum of the earth for all I know. Just like anybody could be the scum of the earth. I've already said this from every video that I make. You can't trust any of these people, period.
Caleb asked Dawson how he was feeling about the cease and desist.
Including Natozi, including me. You can't trust any of us.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel nervous, or do you feel
No.
excited?
I feel confident.
You feel
Not excited, but
little nervous, a little bit. You got to feel a little.
I think the fame obviously goes to your head. He was from, MrBeast's team. Obviously, he did that as a way to further his career. So I'm sure in some cases, he has some agenda here.
I'd be shitting myself if I were you.
no, I'm not myself.
Well, you're
Because it was 100% expected. It was 100% expected.
Right. I mean, to be honest, it's cool to be nervous and not scared though, because you are coming from the perspective of this is what you believe is truth. And
Yeah.
you're doing this out of good faith.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. The whole disgruntled employee thing. That's sort of that was my initial response as well. It's like, because we've seen so many of these types of things happen.
I have to admit, that's my original thoughts were as well.
Yeah.
I would absolutely be worried about this lawsuit. As sure, you could be confident that you're going to win, but I wouldn't wish the mental and financial stress of a lawsuit on anyone, because that will really take a toll on you. And Caleb also asked Dawson if he thinks Jimmy himself is actually at fault here.
If you were to be as fair as you possibly could and even play devil's advocate, what would you say percentage-wise? What's MrBeast's fault? What is not?
Yeah, no, I actually play with this idea and speculate a lot. Like, okay, if Jimmy was fully innocent, how could he get into this position? And it'd be like, you hire people who do bad things, and then they use those bad things as blackmail cards against you. So
Absolutely. I think this happens a lot of times when you have unsuspecting innocent people go into a business or go into a prospect and then unfortunately be part of something that is illegal or illicit or maybe just gray, and you slowly be indoctrinated into this. And yes, you don't want to leave the opportunity, you don't want to leave the job, and you stay in there longer than you should, and therefore at some point you become part of the company, part of the problem, and you're no longer innocent, and unfortunately you would be found guilty of something, and therefore you try to save your ass by whatever means necessary if it ever came to be where you have to be held accountable. This happens in a lot of police forces. We saw this with the culture that was existent during the George Floyd issue, and even before that. It's been happening historically for a very long time. It even happens in the military, okay, where a unit will do a bad thing, and then 98 people were innocent, but the 2 were guilty, and you're gonna cover up for them because you guys are all boys, and you're gonna just stand strong in loyalty and camaraderie and all this stuff. And yes, unfortunately now everybody's guilty, and that's what happens. You go onto a stop as a police officer. You may have your partner with you, and he's innocent, but you make a mistake, and then you have to go for an evaluation, or you have to do paperwork, and you guys cover each other asses, right? But when it comes to an internal audit or an IG report, whatever else, because it got escalated or there was something else that happened, then you have to actually start trying to cover your lie. Yeah, that's the issue, right? And this can happen in companies as well. It's the same basic fucking process. Happens in politics all the time. Somebody and I don't want to use this example too often, but let's say AOC, right? So supposedly comes in innocent, never been in politics before, has a relatively clean record before that, but you get your hands dirty while you're in there. You start aligning with people that have been in politics for years, and then you see something, you don't say it because you want to protect that person, because they're going to be the ones basically signing off on your next legislation that you need to get passed to do something that you really want for the Green New Deal. And there it goes. It's a slippery slope. Everybody can be susceptible. even if you are someone like MrBeast who might have been innocent initially, but no longer is.
Maybe somebody pressured him really hard into selling fake signatures. And now that they know that he sold fake signatures, it's harder to fire them in case they go to time
100%. That's definitely a possibility. You know,
magazine. Like,
almost as if he knows this. I'm sure they talk. I'm sure they talk in this company all the time about all their actions, about all the stuff they've done previously. What else is there to talk about?
concept called like
And they seem like they're friendly. So what else is there to talk about?
blackmail inflation. So I don't know. Anything could be possible. MrBeast could be completely innocent.
Yeah.
I've seen some behaviors and things that make me think that, you know, he's not, like what I told you privately in DMs and everything. But yeah, so I don't know, 50-50. Let's call it 50-50.
If you want to watch Caleb's full interview, I'll be linking it in the description down below. But going back to my old video, it's been blocked worldwide. And the company that did it is Spotter. I've actually been offered a deal by Spotter before, so
Okay, interesting. Okay, go into this. I want to hear more about this.
but what a great way to treat a potential client. I know I already said no, but this is definitely not going to change my mind. But this is definitely a weird claim because Spotter, they're a company that buys back catalogs of YouTubers. As YouTubers, they made videos.
Oh, okay. So if they wanted to buy like PewDiePie's backlog, because it's got like there's a distinction here about YouTube videos of being evergreen, right? So if you have really good evergreen content, I guess a company like Spotter would want to buy your stuff because it has potentially a good residual back end that you can make money off of if you're popular as well.
Videos years ago, they're still getting views and thus still making some money.
Evergreen, yeah.
So a company like Spotter, they'll pull up and be like, hey, can I buy portions of your back catalog or all of your videos from, let's say, 2022 and older? And I guess that's what they've done with MrBeast, as you can see on their website. But the weird thing is, I would expect them to just claim the revenue.
That's interesting. Didn't even know that. And the fact that he got copyright claimed, it indicates that he did sell his backlog. Why would he do that? You know? I'm just saying, like, greed, money, wanting all the money, that usually implies other actions that you are willing to take to make that kind of extra money. And so the video that is obviously being or trying to get cease and desisted and taken down has some validity, I'm sure, as far as MrBeast's motives and intentions. He's probably not as good as he seems.
For my video, not block it worldwide because, you know, they're in the business of making money. So
Yeah.
why are they not trying to make money off of my video? Instead, they're literally censoring my video. And in my video, I have to admit, I was way too nice to MrBeast, as the video was filmed like 2 to 3 days before posting, and Dawson hadn't even received the text and or cease and desist yet.
Sure.
So the whole landscape of the situation has changed a lot. Did I nitpick way too much in that video? I would definitely say so, because now after rewatching it, I see he's building a case to show that MrBeast has been deceitful in the past. But so far, Eric, he's handled being called out for faking content way better than MrBeast. I don't think Eric really committed a crime though, but still, they were both called out for saying their content is real and then faking content later on. But Eric didn't send a cease and desist to Soggy Cereal. Anyway, that's about it for now. Hopefully this doesn't go to court. Also, please drop the claim in my video, Spotter. That would really be cool. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah, I mean, I think this video does highlight a lot of things. I'm glad that there was an interview here with the actual YouTuber that posted the video recently about MrBeast. I think this conversation is important. I think all conversations are important, and silencing somebody or blocking them without even trying to like get the message across. Like I had my first video blocked with Warner Brothers. It was my Goonies nostalgic 80s review, which I'm going to be doing another one on Friday. It's going to be Maximum Overdrive. I should be posting on Friday, and then it'll be on the whole entire other video will be on Patreon later that day or at the same time. That I was blocked. I couldn't even put it on YouTube at all. Like, it was blocked worldwide. So I had a similar issue that this particular YouTuber had. So I find this video to be very revealing, and I do think that probably a lot of stuff's going to come out, and Do I think Mr. Beast is going to be deplatformed? No, I don't. I think his Amazon deal is and video game thing. I don't know how far along it is in production, but I say if it's not over the halfway mark, I would say even higher than that. I would say if it's not 70% done, I think there's a good chance that it could be canceled. I think it could be literally like they could say, you know what, we no longer want this deal, Mr. Beast. They may have to like suck up like a huge amount of money. Apparently they paid him a ton of money. I'm not sure how much of that is guaranteed. But they may have to take the bullet on that one because we'll see how this is going to work out for him. And he's very popular. So content creators are going to feel the need both financially and also credibility wise to cover him. And so who knows how many videos are going to come out about Mr. Beast and what they're going to say about him and what's going to stick or what isn't going to, or what is not going to stick. But I would recommend you go to Tozi's. Here, you can't see that. Let me show you. Tozi's channel here, and it's entitled "Mr. Beast Just Destroyed His Credibility." And when I do this YouTube video, I will have posted a link down below. You can click on that to go watch the original video, which I recommend everyone to do. So, my name is Suzuki. If you like this content, like, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.